The air hums with the low thrum of the reclaimed power substation, a metallic ozone scent clinging to the hand-labelled vinyl records stacked near the war surplus transmitter. Outside, the city breathes a rough sigh of exhaust and damp concrete, the distant sirens a muted lament. Inside, cold coffee sits forgotten next to a flickering neon tube, the color of a fresh wound.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Singapore checks in at 84 degrees and clear. Airflow is southeast at about 7 miles per hour. Ghana's parliament has passed the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2024. This law now criminalizes LGBTQ+ activities, mandating prison sentences of 3 to 10 years. Community organizations report a surge of fear, impacting individuals directly and their support networks.
The bill now awaits President Nana Akufo-Addo's assent. Its provisions extend beyond individual identity, penalizing advocacy and support for queer rights under Article 104. This legislative action targets an estimated 5 to 10% of the Ghanaian population, impacting their access to housing, healthcare, and employment security.
This creates a stark division. It's a clash between a state asserting a singular moral code and the foundational right to personal autonomy, eroding trust in civic structures. The cultural weave here fragments, much like a traditional kente cloth torn at its very seams, leaving thousands isolated and vulnerable.
Patching in a caller, the critical thinker. You're on the signal.
Do these laws ever truly change behavior? Or do they just increase fear and push people underground, making things worse? What's the real cost in terms of societal trust?
The transmitter pops once, adjusts, holds, ozone drift, the signal is still here. That's a sharp question, a critical query for our internal compass. History offers little evidence that criminalizing identity alters it. Instead, it often generates a toxic residue of fear and desperation, undermining the very civic architecture it claims to protect. An alternative path here could be engaging with the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, seeking a regional court challenge to the bill based on existing human rights frameworks like the African Charter. For a next move experiment, consider the gig passport mesh, activating the local signal radar to identify safe havens and support networks, using anonymous digital passport stamps to track community needs and resource gaps for those affected. This builds new architectures of solidarity. Shifting gears, an act of immediate courage from Germany. Near Bochum, a cyclist, whose name hasn't been widely released, is being lauded for rescuing 4 individuals from the Ruhr River.
Debrief like designers. Log the friction, script a small rule bend, and try it live.
The incident involved a family of 8 enjoying a barbecue close to the Weitmarer Holz Nature Reserve. 4 family members, including 2 children, encountered difficulties in the water, prompting the swift intervention of the passing cyclist, preventing a potential multiple fatality event.
This spontaneous act reveals a core human impulse to protect and intervene. It's an affirmation of the inner architecture that values life and communal safety over self-preservation in a moment of crisis. This echoes ancient narratives of the lone hero, connecting us all to a deeper lineage of care for the collective.
How can we translate this kind of individual heroism into reliable community-wide safety nets beyond just hoping for a hero to pass by?
The trade-off here is the personal risk taken by the rescuer against the catastrophic loss of life. It demonstrates how individual choice can build immediate, vital architectures of support. An alternative path could involve the local municipality installing more emergency call points or clearer hazard warnings along that stretch of the Ruhr River, perhaps even implementing a local volunteer water safety patrol. For a next move experiment, imagine a community initiative using Lesson Planner to create open-source first responder modules specifically tailored to local waterways like the Ruhr. These could be distributed via the Gig Passport mesh, making emergency skills a community resource. New tape on deck, several protesters arrested at New Jersey ICE facility. Turning now to civic architectures under pressure in the US. Several protesters were arrested at the New Jersey ICE facility in Elizabeth as clashes continued over detention policies. That's the tension we need to navigate. While protests raise awareness and create pressure, the immediate impact on detainees is complex, sometimes leading to heightened security. The trade-off is often between immediate disruption for visibility and the long-term strategic goal of systemic change. An alternative for authorities could be establishing a formal, transparent dialogue channel with protest organizers and community groups, reviewing detention conditions, or implementing community-based alternatives to detention for low-risk individuals. For a next move experiment, consider a civic architecture audit, using the gig passport mesh to map protest incident zones, gather first-hand accounts from activists and families, and connect affected individuals with legal aid resources. This builds a provenance of truth and support.
We've explored the tensions in Ghana, the spontaneous courage in Germany, and the ongoing clashes at home. Each scene reveals critical stress points in our collective and individual architectures. The Black Star radio program can amplify stories like this, not just as news, but as blueprints for civic courage, inspiring others to build their own capacities for immediate, impactful action.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Continue the signal at TogeeVision.com. Tune in, Sparks and Stories, Gig Passport.